Welcome to Cruising with Carla. Today, we're stepping back to the 50s with Kelly as she shares the story of her parents' beautiful 1956 Ford Victoria. This classic isn't just a car, it's a piece of family history, filled with memories of Sunday drives and car shows. Join us as Kelly takes us through the charm, the style, and the special meaning behind this timeless Ford.
All right, welcome back to Cruising with Carla. It's so awesome. Today we have a special episode featuring my friend Kelly and her father's and mother's 1956
Ford Victoria.
Ford Victoria.
No crown.
That's right. Now, one of the, I met Kelly probably about
3 years ago.
3 years ago at a car show, and she had brought her partner, her son, was there, and at the time, how old was he?
Oh, he was, well, initially when Aiden first met your car, you weren't there, so he was 8 the first time.
So it was, I had my Bel Air, it was the first time I had the Bel Air car show, and they had taken this photograph, and I didn't know because I never saw them. But then the following year, she saw me at another car show, and she brought out this picture of her son with the car, and he had grown substantially. He's a very tall young man.
He is very tall.
And so we kind of struck up this relationship, this friendship, which has lasted now 3 years. We converse on most of the time on the internet, but we finally get to see each other face to face sometimes here and there. Yeah. And then she shared with me that her parents had this beautiful car and that she was hoping, to bring it back to life, to get it running. And so that really touched a chord with me. And she's like, do you think I could do it? And I was like, absolutely, you can do it, girlfriend. You can do anything. So today we have the pleasure to come out here, meet her mom and her husband and her family and this beautiful car. So without further ado, I'm going to let you tell the story of your parents' car.
Okay, so initially they bought the first 1956 Ford Victoria that they purchased was flat black with flames.
Okay.
And my dad picked it up for a song and a whistle, but it was too far gone.
Okay.
So it wasn't the perfect match for his dreams. And he heard about this one, and it was a barn find that was brought up from California.
Okay.
We had heard through the grapevine that whoever it was in jail, and so it stayed in a storage facility until this guy brought it up from the States, and he tucked it in his barn.
Okay.
Initially, it was white with a salmon interior, and was not for my dad. So one of the first things it happened was he went into a paint booth, and unfortunately, there was some circumstances where the guy wasn't what my dad was hoping for.
That happens in this car business sometimes.
Absolutely. So it did lead to a lawsuit. My dad did win, but he didn't win anything. But the bodywork must have been well done because the paint is holding up.
How long ago was that done?
It was painted. We have pictures of it finished in 1993.
Yeah, so it's held up pretty good. Yeah, so the bodywork actually must have been quite good on it. Now, do you remember, do you have many memories of the car? Did you ever get to drive it?
Absolutely,
Okay.
I did. So I was probably 16 the first time my dad hopped out from behind the wheel and let me drive it back home.
Oh, wow, at 16?
Yep, at 16. And then when I was 19, friends of ours were getting married, and I asked my dad if he would drive them for their wedding, and he said, no, you can.
Oh my God.
So my mom came home one day, and the car was gone, and so was I. And so that was my first big excursion in the car. Years later, my dad decided that he didn't want to show it anymore, but the A&W car show meant a lot to me.
Yes.
We have trophies from the very first A&W car show in Duncan.
Okay.
My dad won Best in Show, Best
Oh,
Car.
amazing.
It felt really good. So my dad was like, if you want to clean it up, you can take it down there.
Yeah.
So I did take it to an A&W car show all by myself one year.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we lost my dad 3 years ago.
Okay.
So the car has been sitting. We've tried, getting it up and running a few times. We've had it out. This last year has been quite difficult with the carburetor. So it's about a year that it's been sitting, waiting for some life to be brought back into it.
Okay. And as we just were talking earlier too, it has it's original all around. So it's got the original teapot carburetor. So, can be problematic.
I did have to do the fuel pump conversion, and
Right.
I got all my inspiration from you, and took over and got on my dad's carburetors one day, and it was done in an afternoon.
That's amazing. High
So
five.
it was an excellent start to prove that, you know, we can do these little conversions without taking away from, you know, it's completely stock, right?
Yeah,
My
it's
dad
originality.
really wanted it to remain that way. But it does look like, you know, conversions will be needed to make it safe and sound for my mom to be able to take it out on her own.
Yeah, yeah. I was just super impressed, and I think, you know, being a female, being new to this car world myself, you know, I'm a total newbie. I just kind of got going and just figuring things out on my own. So it's lovely to see another female wanting to get into it, and especially that bond that you have with your dad, your car, your mom. So it means a lot. I can see how much it meant to you, and that's why I was like, you know what, we got to go out there, we got to meet these people, see the car, and then hopefully, you know, be able to record and film the process of what it is right now. And then I would be delighted to see your car cruising down the road, seeing your mom and you and your husband all taking it off the road and just having a grand old time, because that's what they're meant for. They're meant to be driven. And they're meant to be shared with other people. At least that's my take on it. All right, so Kelly, let's take a walk around the car here and let's take a quick peek. And I mean, overall, already looking at this car, it looks in really, really, really good shape. Obviously, it's been sitting for a while, and you said it had some issues before. And I know you kind of want to bring it back up to its usefulness life and get it back out running. So let's take a quick walk around. So initially here, right as we're looking through the front, as we look down the line, like this car is really, really straight. There's no major paint flaws or anything. It looks really, really good. And as we go around here, obviously the biggest thing that I would change for a big improvement would be your bias plies. Let's get some radial tires in there. And then that way you'd be safe driving on that road, so it's not actually tracking.
A little less floaty.
Yes, a little less floaty, right? Also too in here, I mean, this is quite typical. You know, just a little bit of just surface rust. You could easily wire brush all this area. We'll pull the tire out, wire brush the area, and I would put some POR 15. It's an anti-rust inhibitor. So you can put it on rust and it'll just prevent the rust from continuing to further go down. So that's definitely something that I think we should do.
Preventative measures.
Yeah, preventative measures. Like this all looks really, really good. Your stainless and your chrome still looks in great shape. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. And all down here, that's solid, which is really, really good. Usually they rust around here. So it's in great shape. Again, back here, even the inside, it all looks really good.
So I do know rust is an issue with the bumpers, so
Yes.
that's why my dad didn't have them going through the holes.
Ah, yes, because normally they would be going through the back there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And but the bumper itself, it looks really good. The chrome's still actually in really decent shape. I love, you know, the tail lights back here, like the big round tail lights. They're just so beautiful. I don't know, but the chrome and all that, I'll give you a sample of some of the materials that I use to shine all the chrome and the stainless up. And you get it all polished and it just shines really well as, you know, a wax that we do over top of the car. Doing a wax coat. Has it ever had a wax coat in a while?
Actually, once upon a time, there was a product called dry wash, and painters absolutely hated it because it apparently seeps like into a molecular level.
Okay.
However, it was very popular back in the day, so if you didn't intend on doing any body work to your car, it was okay to use. So I do know dry wash back in the day was one of my dad's most go-to polishes.
That's amazing. I never heard of that, so that's cool. Well, we definitely have some newer stuff that we like to use in our cars. So I'll definitely, you know, we can do that, and it'll just bring it. It makes the paint just shine and glow.
It takes that dead layer off.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Saying, okay, so there is a little bubbling going on here. It's not too much, but the year we got married, so 2005, it did have a significant bubbling in the wheel wells in the back quarter.
Okay.
So they hit it with a grinder, and we had heard it was raced on the beaches, and sand and seashells actually came out.
No way, out of the rear quarter.
Out of the quarter
panels. Gosh.
Yeah, there was little piles on the...
Where was it raced? Like in California?
Apparently on the beaches in California.
Oh my God, how cool. That's quite a bit of awesome history right there. That's pretty amazing. So because obviously the color matched it. So I wonder if maybe you have the color.
We could ask the guy who did it, because he's a lot more newer than the guy from years back. Yeah,
because the color match is obviously pretty darn good. So if we can get that color, then we can fix that up down there and color match it. So that'd be really good. And again, like all your trim pieces, like they're in amazing shape. Like no one's hit them. I don't know, you guys seem to park really far away from everybody because the trim is in fantastic shape. And we'll open up the doors here. I'll take a peek. Maybe we'll get the cameraman to take a look inside. Now the cool thing is that those seat covers, they pop out really easily and they're quite easy to paint. So we'll definitely be giving you some classes on how to do some painting on there. But yeah, oh, and did you want to go ahead, maybe go in there and just point to the steering wheel and show our, there we go. So that is the original color then of the car.
This was the original interior color. It was salmon pink.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Couldn't last long in my dad's world like that. So.
Oh wow. Yeah, car is in fantastic shape. I can't wait to see this car at a car show or just cruising, you know. We'll have to cruise to the A&W or something. And look at that, the door just closes nicely. Yeah, so again, along the bottom of the rockers, like everything is solid. Like there's no rusting in there. Yeah, it's a really, really solid car. I want to take a look at the engine compartment. I know it's been something that you've been talking about, that you were having some problems getting it started and your mom unable to drive this car for a long time. So tell me a little bit about what's been happening.
So once upon a time, my dad used to dump gas down the carb to get it up and running flash.
Yeah.
So we're trying to break that mold and get it up and running so it's reliable for my mom.
Yeah.
We tried to take a look at 2 different carburetors.
Okay.
We had another teapot,
yeah,
and a Rochester, and we had them both looked at, and it was determined that they were not worth the rebuild.
Yeah.
So now we're toying with the idea of a conversion,
yep,
just so that we can get it safe and sound and reliable for my mom to be driving, and it's reliable every time she goes and flashes it up. It's going to work for her.
Okay, well, let's take a peek and see what we've got under there. Awesome. So did you work a lot on the engine with your dad?
I did. That was actually what got me started working on the car.
Okay, I'm going to stand here.
Initially, I walked into my dad's shop one day and I said, "Dad, I want to build a birdhouse." And he said, "Tough shit. I'm a millwright. I work with metal." So he had a scrap piece of wood in the shop and he let me paint it, and I painted Fords, or Friends Don't Let Friends Drive Fords.
Oh!
And from that moment on, he decided that, you know, if I was looking for something to do, woodwork wasn't his thing, but he was in the process of detailing the engine so that he could get collector's plates.
Yes.
It was the one thing holding Mom and Dad back,
yeah,
was the detailing of the engine. Once upon a time, they were so stringent on the rules.
Yes.
So I remember soaking the valve covers
wow,
in gasoline and wire brushing them, and I loved the smell of it. And help painting and then putting all the stickers back on and stuff.
Yeah. Oh wow. And you know what? I mean, the engine looks like it's, you know, it's lived a full life for sure, right? I'm sure it's got many stories to tell, many miles. So yeah, I mean, you know, from this kind of perspective, it looks like it's all original, all stock.
Everything. Yeah.
I think I mentioned one of the earlier things is like Y blocks are typically known to overheat. So definitely ensuring, you know, your radiator is nice and clean of goo in there, and obviously your fan having the right temperature. You know, some guys like to convert their mechanical fans into electrical and just switch the whole system out if it's overheating a lot. But if it's not a problem, you know, why go there? But if you want to try and keep it all stock, for sure. Certainly looks like, you know, it could use a carb rebuild, but if it's already struggling, you know, maybe an upgrade would be wonderful. I think my Crown Vicky has a Holly carb, so I can certainly get you the specs for that, and maybe that's the next upgrade that you do is is you change from that carburetor to something maybe a little bit newer, and put an adapter plate in there to make it fit. Also too, if you go with an electronic ignition, and distributor, it helps to just be able to like turn and go, and to switch from the old point system. So, I mean, it still functions well if, these cars, they ran for 60, 70 years, right? So there's nothing wrong with them, but if you want just a little bit more functionality and just so your mom can just get in and go, definitely that would be one of the things. But yeah, this car looks like it's in amazing shape. Okay, well, Kelly, thank you so much for having me here and showing me your dad's car and your mom's car. And I'm really excited to see this whole rebuild process happen, getting this car on the road. And I have full faith in you and your partner's ability to get this baby up on the road. And yeah, we're here to help you and support you in any way we can. So yeah, come down to my shop. We will get this puppy rolling. And I can't wait to see your mom going on that first cruise.
I really want to thank you for coming up to here today and being my sounding board, giving me advice and helping me prioritize this great big can of worms is what it felt like when we initially started. It was just, It seemed so much and overwhelming.
Yeah.
So to have you help me put into perspective the priorities and safety features is very appreciative. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. I'm so excited to see another girl get another car on the road. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, girl. All right, thank you everybody and stay tuned for the next episode on this car as we get this baby rolling down the road. Till next time, keep on cruising.
Cruising with Carla.
Cruising with Carla.
Thanks for joining us on Cruising with Carla. If you made it this far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay tuned for more of Cruising with
Carla.
Carla, she's the smart one.